G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Grayzbildz. In this episode we're going to be looking at the 200 series Land Cruiser and changing the front disc brake rotors and pads. So this is my 2013 Land Cruiser 200 series. It has 160,000 kilometers on it, so about 100,000 miles, and it has a warped brake rotor pulsating through the pedal under braking, and pads are due for replacement anyway, so it's time to upgrade the rotors with aftermarket rotors. In Australia we have a very excellent brand called DBA, and we're going to be using the DBA T3 slotted rotors. Now I'll get that out. So this is the DBA T3 slotted rotors. They're an excellent brand and an excellent upgrade. They are heavy duty. We're also going to combine them with Bendix four-wheel drive pads, which are designed for heavier duty four-wheel drive and towing applications. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, I'm trying something a little bit new this time. I have a new 4K headset, so hopefully give you a bit better point of view. Obviously when pulling off your, sorry if there's a bit of wind noise here, I've got the fans going and it's very hot at the moment. Obviously when you pull the wheel off, safety first, make sure you use a jack stand. I prefer to leave the jack in place with the jack stand, actual weight on the jack stand, so that way there's 2 points that are holding weight. Once you've taken the wheel off, inspect the tyre. Mine's got a bit of weird wear happening, and those tyres are nearly due for replacement anyway. But what we're looking at, these rotors are actually in pretty good condition as far as the surface is concerned, and the pads are pretty much done. It's a little bit hard to see there, I'll bring this one in. So the pads are very low there when you compare them to the new ones, which I'll show you in a sec. Having an inspection everywhere else, I'll try and keep this camera so you can see what I'm seeing. There's a little bit of grease coming out of this top ball joint. I believe that is because this has had grease injected into it. I wish they'd go back to ball joints that had grease nipples on them. I much prefer to whack a bit of extra grease in. CV boots look good. Another point of common failure on these IFS trucks. Internal one looks good. Bottom ball joint also has a little bit of grease coming out of it, but they're not split. The suspension on this at 160,000 k's is original and is getting pretty soft, so that'll be one thing that I'll be looking at eventually to replace. Alright, starting off, caliper bolts is 2 17mm bolts. Hopefully it's bright enough in here for you to see. Oh yeah, those pads definitely due. Toyota in their infinite wisdom used this clip system. I had problems with that on my 100 series. I really don't like it. Ended up lock wiring, or as you Americans call it, safety wiring, which is different stuff to us. But lock wiring these in place. Once you've removed the locking pin, and it's just these two slider pins. Take note of the anti-rattle spring. Since these have been out. So the anti-rattle spring goes on the lower section of the caliper. Just a matter of pulling the pads out. There's no inner and outer on these. They're exactly the same. Alright, let's show you the new pads. As I mentioned in the intro, these are Bendix four-wheel drive pads. Heavier duty than the standard type road pads, much better for towing, and let's face it, four-wheel drives are heavy compared to cars. Bendix use what they call a break-in strip. This is this blue line here, and that helps break in the pad to the face of the disc. And if we compare a new pad to an old pad, yep, those pads are definitely past their best. About 70%, 65, 70% worn. I'm also going to use one of my new tools that I reviewed on Frybat segment. This is this caliper or piston spreader tool that I bought. Now we've got that in place. Make sure you always crack the bleed screw when you start pushing the pistons back in. A lot of master cylinders or ABS units, as they are on these things, can be damaged. The internal valving can be damaged if you leave the bead screw closed and push the pistons back, forcing pressure back up into the master unit or the master cylinder. Can damage a lot of the valves in there, so always crack the bleed nipple as you start pushing the calipers back, and the bleed nipple is 10 mil. Okay, see that fluid coming back. Don't put too much pressure on them. Close the lead nipple back up so you don't get any air going back in. Switch the ratchet the other direction. And new pads installation is just the reverse of removal. Inspect your dust boots on your pistons. Okay, install your anti-rattle spring. Spring goes into these two holes here. Actually, spring slides down into the base there. A little bit hard to do with gloves sometimes. Okay, a lot hard to do with gloves sometimes. Right, once you've got your spring in place, you can see one tab goes into that hole there, one into that hole there, the bottom sits down here, these tabs sit on top of the pad, and it's just a matter of pushing your slider pin back in. Find your holes, find your slider pins, need to turn them sometimes to get them in the right orientation. And there you have it. So, locking pins in place, slider pins back in, and pads nice and ready to go. Now, the fun bit, getting the rotor off. Sometimes these come off easily, sometimes you need to use a bolt into these holes. Usually if you just tap them around the outside like that, they come off pretty straightforward. Right, now's the time to start cleaning stuff. As you can see, we've got a fair bit of brake fluid on the back here. good old brake clean. Just be careful you don't put too much strain on the rubber. The way I'm sitting it there, you can see that's still got heaps of play in it. It's not sometimes it's also worth, depending on how much four-wheel driving and mud work, etc. the vehicle's done, sometimes it's worth hitting with a, which I don't have with me. Nope. What I was going to say was using a wire brush, just giving this surface a bit of a clean off. I'll just do it with the brake clean. This is not bad. This vehicle's never been four-wheel driving. It's done some dirt roads, that's all. Something you need to do with all brand new brake rotors is they come with a anti-corrosive film on the surface, so give it a really good clean. If you don't, it will contaminate your new pads and you won't get a proper bed-in process. Remember to do both sides, obviously. Okay, once you've got that oily protective coating off, slide your rotor on. Use a couple of wheel nuts to hold the rotor in position. So that when we put the caliper back on, the pads are in the correct position. Right. Line up your 17mm bolts. I prefer to get them both started. Makes it easier. Once you've got both threads started, and you can do it up. Now, I don't have my torque wrench with me at this remote location, but they are big bolts, so I also usually like to put a dab of loctite on brake caliper bolts on a four-wheel drive, especially given the vibrations of corrugated roads. several lugger duggers, and your dust cap back on your bleed nipple, which I didn't show removing before because I knocked it off with a knife. Right, that's it. Obviously, same for the other side. Give your brake pedal just a couple of pumps, because as you can see, the brake shoes are loose in there at the moment because the pistons are pushed all the way back. And then follow any break-in procedure. The Bendix box has had to change your brake pads, and they don't have a run-in procedure on them anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah. Anyway, take it easy on brand new pads and rotors. Bed them in gently, and then once they're bedded in over 10-20 kilometres, then you can start giving a few more forceful brake applications, and all is good. Anyway, I hope you got something out of that. I'm still sweating in here, even with the fans, and it is swamp box air conditioning here, so but it's still better than being outside and out in the heat. It's bloody hot here at the moment in the Northern Territory. Anyway, I hope you got something out of that. Please like, share and subscribe. Leave comments if you think I did something wrong, or if you have never seen that done before and that helps you do it. Save yourself a lot of money by doing these types of jobs at home. You don't need any real specialist tools for this. A decent quality jack, as you can see, I've got a big four-wheel drive type jack. That is well worth it. And make sure you buy safety stands as well. Safety is paramount. You have one of these fall on you and you're not coming out of it, you're dead. So anyway, that's changing the brake rotors and pads on a 200 series Land Cruiser. It's almost exactly the same process for 100 series, although the rotors are more difficult to change because they're integrated with the hub. Anyway, that's it for now. See you from hot Northern Territory.